Yo, Big A, thanks for the 16 months of great content.
Marketing win.
Oh, yeah. Ari told me she wanted to come on stream and give her own mark. Wait, there's no chat.
Where's the chatty? Oh, I see the jewelers, though.
There's the jewelers. They're flowing. Ari told me she wanted to give her own marketing win before we jump into the show.
Okay, I didn't want to do
A lot of
this.
pressure. A lot of pressure. Everyone's watching.
Letting you know that Brennan made me do this. Okay?
No, you asked to do this.
No, I didn't.
You
I
did.
was like, I'll just tell you, I don't want to do it. It's kind of embarrassing. It's kind of embarrassing. Like, I don't want to do it, but I'll just do it.
It was your idea, is what I'm saying. All right.
No, I mean, no, it wasn't.
Maybe you came in here and said, should I do it on stream or should I do it off stream? I was like, just do it on stream.
But then I was like, I don't want to do that. And then you're like, no, just do it. Just do it. Okay. I'll just say that Polyprops, the maker of Hexflex Clear Primer, is coming to the States. Because they're British. And I couldn't get it easily before, now I can. That's it. Wow, that's a big win right there.
Holy shit, wall of pogs. The maker of Hexflex Clear Primer.
Or just primer. I just like the clear one.
What do you use that for painting props?
It's to seal foam for painting.
How many of you in chat? You're all pogging. You all frequently seal foam? You have foam props that you have to seal with... And so this is a really big deal for you?
It's a big deal for Americans everywhere.
Now, what is it? Just more available? You had to order online?
Yeah, because before, it was just so annoying to get it overseas, or you have to get it from a small Texas shop, but they're always out of stock.
Oh my god, relatable,
so
right?
Angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, they see I've needed it. They said who wants
no
to
more
see
Roscoe
latex,
Flex.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
And
That's a big game changer, babe. Well, that's a big marketing win. Start off with a huge win.
Yeah.
If I had $1
the EU folk get it. EU has had it for a long time, so they're like, oh, I get how cool it is.
Yeah. No, they get it. They definitely get it, my European fans.
Yeah.
They understand.
Look, this person gets it. They literally put my 3 favorite emotes in one line.
A chicken walk, Joler, and the typer.
Yeah. That's it.
That person gets it.
This is very chicken walk news, you know? Okay, that's it. You see why I didn't want to do this?
No, I appreciate it. Everyone loves it. Everyone loves it. Maybe I just don't get it. I'm out of the loop. But I'm happy for you because I do know this.
I could bring the bottle right now.
You have been talking about Hexflex Clear Primer for many years.
Yeah, because I use it every time and it's amazing. And I love it.
You are a big fan. So I will admit this is a huge marketing win for a certain subset of people who make foam props.
Marketing win for Polyprops. Yeah. See, I love these. Sorry. Okay, cool. Now we're leaving.
Well, all right. Chicken walk away.
Chicken walk away.
Bye, babe.
Okay, have fun.
Hello. Only Chronics. Thank you for the Prime. Chase VO. Thank you for the 19 months. Coral Cashew. Thank you for the Prime. We'll start Marketing Monday here in about 13 minutes, maybe 7:50, 45-ish. Got a good one today. A lot of stuff to talk about. What'd you miss? You missed a huge marketing win from my wife about Hexflex Clear Primer. Foduckin! Thank you for the 19 months. Oh, I got to invite you. Oh, let me announce this right now. So I am making a separate Marketing Monday only Discord for people that want to contribute interesting news ideas or stories from their own jobs that I could use as part of the show. It'll also have a separate section for actual employees of Marketing Monday to help coordinate the efforts around each week's show and so I can make further progress on actual non-wins and fails Marketing Monday content that I've been dragging my feet on. So if you're interested in that, I will have some kind of link where you can join it somewhere soon. But I'll get the staff in there first. But it's legitimately supposed to be about actual discussion on marketing, economics, business topics. And if you're not interested in that, then please feel free not to join. It's fine. Can't wait for all of us STEM losers to flood it. Dear God. It's going to be terrible. The flood is going to be unrelenting, dude. I already get enough fucking annoying ass fucking STEM questions. Bro, it's so annoying because it's always like, hey, man, I am a 4.2 GPA from MIT. I've been studying computer science, AI, and robotics, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have a career. Do you have any, advice? It's like, shut the fuck up, bro. You're fine. You know you're fine, and you just want to, either you want to brag about it or you're fucking have a problem with your parents and you are terminally insecure. We should have a chat-driven storytelling session once a month from their jobs. I do want something like that. I think whenever a person from chat has told me an interesting thing about their job, it has always been funny. I think almost every job, if you drill down enough, is funny. I think jobs in general are funny. I think they always lead to weird interactions. And I would love to learn more about people talking about their jobs. Even like, listen, I mean, we just recently did the Taco Bell thing, the shrinkflation story on Taco Bell. And people that actually worked at Taco Bell were DMing me with actual information on like how the managers fucking put pressure on them and things. And it was helpful. So I think it'd be cool just to know what people are learning and finding out in their jobs. It's interesting. It's a more authentic source than a far removed New York Times reporter. I got paid for 8 hours, but only did an hour and a half of work today. That's pretty average. What'd you do for the rest of it? Reddit? What was your big, most productive office worker? I wish I got a job at the child labor sweatshop t-shirt factory. They don't usually call them that. Then I wouldn't be such a lazy bum. Interesting. I feel like you still would. If they took an average Twitch chatter and put him in a child labor sweatshop, I think the child would outwork them by a lot. I think they would call you the lazy one on the line. I used to work at TikTok as the lead ADHD engineer. Good job. You crushed it. You and your team have crushed it. You've knocked it out of the park. I mean, incredible spreading of ADHD. Why don't companies send out rejection letters anymore? That's a great question. Either a mass amount of applicants so they don't feel like that's worth their time. A lot of times they hold on to your letter and don't want to formally reject you. They might reach out 8-12 months later when they have a downturn or need a fill. It's all fucked. I mean, the employers don't treat employees well and then expect to be treated well in return. It's not great. Murray says, I wouldn't know though, because I've never been rejected. So there's that theory as well. You could be just a pure Giga Chad. Of course, he probably has never applied. He's probably saying that from his mom's basement as he eats his 5th Dino Nuggie, knowing that his rejection rate of 0% is because he's never attempted. I'm really frustrated by that. I'm applying to so many jobs right now and getting no rejected. Yeah, it's lame. It's super lame. It would be nice. I mean, the dream, and you do get this once you get out of entry level, at least in some sectors. But the dream, what you want, and I've been in both situations, I'm going to tell you, is like if they don't go with you, to tell you why. Just for example, when I'm so glad I didn't get this job. But before I went to NVIDIA, one of the jobs I was looking at was going to be the lead of marketing for an upcoming shooter game from Riot. And I was top 2. It was down to 2 people. It was me and this woman from Call of Duty. And they, I'm not going to tell the story. The story's pretty funny. I've told it somewhere. Someone can link it. Anyway, didn't end up getting it. I ended up not liking Valorant at all, so good on me. But when I didn't get it, they gave me, they had a conversation with me about, the things they picked over, So, but it, helped understand. I was like, oh, a couple things I can work on. Although I know the exact reason I didn't get it, and I mentioned it in the story, but you can talk about that later. Didn't you say you hated CSGO or something? It was worse, dude. I was at a lunch with all the people, and I said I hated shooter games. So, they're not really for me. Oh, my God. That was a tough one. What are you going to do? Live and learn. Hate the entry-level jobs and the requirements. We can tell when you play Fortnite. Well, if I'd have known I'd love Fortnite so much. that's where I'd be. You know what I'm saying? I'd be working at Epic 100%. Did you see that Elon has to get surgery so he can't fight Mark? Yeah, I didn't even include it in wins and fails today, even though I really should have, because Elon stuff is just a gold mine. Quick update. Elon said, hey, we're going to have the fight's back on. We're going to live stream it on X. Me versus Elon in the ring, live streamed on X. And then a few days later, he's like, oh, I have to get surgery. Oh, who knows? And like the whole time, Zuckerberg was fucking troll posting over on Threads. He's the last person still posting there. And he was like, I'll believe it when you set a fucking date. Like, there's no shot. There's no shot you're doing it. You're not going to follow through, I can tell. So anyway, it's been interesting. It's been good back and forth. I didn't get to include it in wins and fails, but maybe when we get more updates, I'll do a full thing. Hey, Atrioc, what kind of company size-wise is ideal for an entry-level position? Bro, the one that'll pay you, bro. Don't be so fucking picky on your first job, dude. Get out there in the world. No, I mean, there's two schools of thought, right? If you go to a startup for an entry-level job, you'll get a lot more responsibility. You'll get paid less. Almost always, you'll get paid less. You gotta risk. Sometimes the stock options go crazy and it's good, but generally you get paid less, but you get more responsibility. You get to wear more hats. You learn faster, and then a big company has more processes, more senior leadership you can learn from. Assuming your goal is learning, which it should be on your entry level jobs. I'm not talking about physical hats, right? You understand that? You understand I'm not talking about you don't wear literally more hats. You don't like put a sombrero on top of a fucking top hat. You're wearing, it's a phrase used in meaning you do a lot of things in different roles. No, actually, I'm lying. You guys, I don't want to make you sad. You guys wear 14 hats. If you work at a startup, you wear 14 hats. Baseball caps, top hats, sombreros. It's awesome. It's so cool. Don't turn down the job from Google and go to fucking a startup so you can wear all of these hats every day. It's so cool. Atrioc, I just got laid off after 1 year. I just got an offer for a new job with a bit less money. I don't really want to take it, but I don't want to be unemployed either. I said, man, what do you want me to say? I cannot solve that problem for you. You have presented me with a tough situation. I cannot just like say a magic word. I don't know your industry. I don't know what you're looking for. From what you've told me, if you have no other offers, consider taking it. All right, or try to negotiate the salary up. You know, talk about some of the work you did previously. Yeah, I can't solve that problem. I can't just say, you know what, make more. I want to get my first job, but I'm scared I'll get fired for not being prepared. Should I just go for it? Or is there something I need to do? What? I'm not 100% understanding your question. I want to get my first job. I'm scared I'll get fired because I'm not prepared. Should I just go for it? I mean, are you lying on your resume? Are you like, is it like are you a Chinese translator and you can't speak Chinese? I'm scared I'm not prepared enough. I'm going to get there and they're going to, for most jobs, you learn on the job. Most of what they even see, like for, let's say out of college, for example, the degree is mostly showing that you know how to learn and maybe you get some basics, but you learn almost everything on the job. Someone said work incel. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to roast this guy. This guy's a long-time sub. That was a nice question. I didn't fully understand it. And it sounds like you're fine, bro. If you're thinking about it, you're fine. The people that would legitimately have this problem wouldn't think about it. They'd be just completely overconfident in their own abilities and have no idea. You just learn. Just ask questions, bro. One thing I would say is don't be afraid to ask questions, especially in your first 2 weeks to a month. You have this grace period. When you first started a company, it's green in 2 weeks. It starts to yellow by a month. And then after a month, it gets really bad. Ask questions. Because in that first 2 weeks, anything you ask, everyone's happy to help. But if it's like 2 months later, 3 months later, and you're asking questions, people get annoyed. Like, why the fuck do you not know this? Be annoying. Be annoying early so you're less annoying later. Use that window. It's very important. Hey, Atrioc, I feel like we should legalize insider trading. I didn't know I had Congress people that watched me. Welcome. Welcome, Dianne Feinstein. Hey, do you think being a pilot is a good future-proof job? Sure. Taiwan, the war's going to need a lot of pilots. You're good, bro. Besides, even if they invent AI flying planes, they're gonna want a human there in the suit, in the hat, so the human passengers feel comforted that there's a guy ready to take over the wheel. So you can just do that. Just practice looking like a pilot, you know. Quack says he could stand there wearing a hat, but I've met you, Quack, and I don't know. You'd have too many chains and rings on to really convince me that you're like an astute pilot. Like I would really want someone with less drip. I want like somebody who's more straight-laced, down to earth. Gifties, Idle Mountain. Thank you for the 10 gifties. And do you have a message? I can read that. Always read for the gifties. You said, yo, I work for a Raytheon company and I found your dad. I feel weird. I shouldn't have this power. You shouldn't abuse that power. You're not the only one. People have done it. So they've messaged him. Just don't be weird, huh? How about that? It's a great, easy thing to ask. Are you aware? Wait, what? Martin Shkreli for Zoomers? Who the fuck is that? How many emails has your dad gotten? Not as many as you'd think. I asked him that. He said he got a few. Most were nice. None were weird. But he said it's a little annoying. But I thought it would be like hundreds. It was like fucking 18. It wasn't that bad. And most of them were like, "What's up, Papa Gliz? You farm low W's like nobody else. Peace out, King." That's legitimately that's what they were, right? And so that's not too bad. That's fine. A&R 101, thank you for the prime. Infamous Geppetto, thank you for the 10 months. Jolly Skydiver, thank you for 27s. Schwabe, thank you for the prime. Jose, thank you for the 3 months. Retro Grades, thank you for the 15. Guppy Fish, thank you for the 15 months of sending me pictures of your cat. Are they hiring? I don't know if Raytheon's hiring. I do know that Raytheon's like one of the #1 most wanted Gen Z jobs, or like military contract, or like the top of the list. They like interviewed a bunch of Gen Z college graduates about where they want to work. And it was like, it was weird. I mean, it was like, Raytheon and Lockheed were up there. Boeing. I don't know. It was weird. Maybe they just have great job security or something, or they pay well. They're the only companies at job fairs. That's a good sign. It's a good sign. Bit Duty Man, thank you for the 13 months. It's Dobby, sir. Thank you for the 36 months. Very kind. Taco Tech, thank you for the 24. Scoopy, thank you for the prime. A&R. Anyway, thank you all for the subs. Thanks, everybody, for the fun times when my dad was on stream. I have to tell you, I was very hungover yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday? Yeah, we oh my God, dude. It was so funny. So my dad and I threw back, I don't know, 13 shots or something on that stream, and I'm a lightweight. My dad he was getting drunk, and he leaked his email, and I'm a lightweight. I was drunk. And then we went out to get tacos, and we ran into this group of people. Maybe one of them's even watching now because they said we're going to check out the stream. With this group of people, and I met this girl who started working at Twitch like right after I left. And so we were just catching up on like, did it get as shitty as I thought? And she's like, yeah, it got worse. So I was just drunk talking. We were having a great time. It was awesome. And then I met this guy in that group who's like a 23-year-old Zoomer computer science graduate who turned down jobs from like big tech to go work for the American Cancer Association or something, and was making less money but fulfilled. And I was like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? Why the fuck are you so emotionally mature? And that's crazy, bro. I would never do that at 23. I mean, the fact that he was even thinking about like fulfillment and there's more to life than just, I don't know. I was blown away. I've never met like, anyway. So that was cool. I don't know what they thought of me because I was drunk. I don't know. I thought I was being charming, but if I could flash back to it, it could be terrible. I have no idea, bro. But it was great. We had a good time. And then I woke up the next day and I felt like absolute shit. I mean, Sunday I just was hungover all day. Sucked. Threw up. Bro, I haven't thrown up from drinking in so long. Oh God. What a crazy stream. But everyone was good. Had a good time. Isn't that the best feeling? No. Wait. Do you understand what the best feeling means? It wouldn't. No, throwing up in the bathroom is not the best feeling. No wonder the title was No Stream Sunday. I just never stream Sundays because I have to work on Marketing Monday. It was actually nice. I just sat down with my dad. We were both drunk. Both hungover. Him less than me. We ordered a sandwich and we watched Sopranos. It was awesome. That's a perfect Sunday. Chilling with my dad. We both got drunk last night. We watched Sopranos. It was a huge W. It was a great weekend overall, honestly. Great time. And I've never seen Sopranos. And so it was cool because he wanted me to watch it. We started from the beginning. It was cool. Okay. Well, now it's 7. So 4 minutes. We're going to start Marketing Monday. I'm sorry. I've taken a little bit of delay. I just want to catch up with everybody. 4 minutes. We're going to jump in. I have a lot to talk about today. Actually, I'm trying something a little different this week where the Marketing Monday is as big or even bigger than usual, but I did fewer stories that I went a little bit deeper on. I just want to try it. I'm just interested in, we'll see. It's a wins and fails, but it's like, instead of like 10 wins, 10 fails or whatever, it's like 4, 5 or 6 or whatever, but they're like, we'll see. That's why I'm trying something out. We'll see if I like it or not. Okay. That's that. Maybe I'll get some water and we'll start here in just a minute. Anything else? Are you going to cover HexFlex moving to America? My wife already covered that. She did an amazing job. This shirt suits you, Atrioc. I think it looks nice. # Positivity Mondays. I want you to know, even though that's ironic, I guess, it's the nicest thing Quack has ever said to me in 2 years of working together. It is the nicest thing Quack has said to me in 2 years. In my chat. I could scroll up his entire chat history. I wouldn't find anything even close to that. I don't even know how to handle it.
We truly live.
All right, let me get a little water. We'll come back. We'll market the hell out of these Mondays. Be right back. Talk to yourselves. Introduce yourselves to each other, you know? You guys have similar interests, I'm sure. Talk about that. I like drinking water sometimes. Oh, God, this is going well. Fucking Rico Suave. You guys know how to fucking riz each other up, dude. I mean, it's crazy. Red Rising is so good. It is good. I haven't started the new book. I really want to. It's been sitting there next to my bed. I got to read it. Drewster, thank you for the tier 1. Danny Stan. All right, 7:59. Ladies and gentlemen, I am excited to jump into Marketing Monday. I just need you to do one thing for me. That is to look at the following screen and tag yourself when you see anything representing you on screen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Marketing Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Marketing Monday on August 7th, 2023. This is the show called Wins and Fails, where we go over all the wins and fails in the last week of marketing and business. And this week, we deep dived on a few interesting ones. Now, there's been a lot of main characters in Marketing Monday history. We've talked about Elon a ton, Zuckerberg a ton, plenty of people, okay? But I want to introduce a new character to Jeff Bezos, to the billionaire crew that we like to cover here on this show. And that is a man from Japan by the name of Masayoshi Son, seen here. And in case you're worried, he is a billionaire, 26.4 billion USD. This guy is very funny and very interesting. And I feel like it'd be good if you guys knew more about him, because I have a very interesting story related to him today. So Masayoshi Son, this guy, if you don't know, is the head of SoftBank Group, one of the largest multinational corporations in Japan, basically a massive bank. They also do like cell phones and everything else, but it's basically a bank, okay? And in 2017, he said he was going to bet big on the future and raise the largest investment fund the world has ever seen, $100 billion. He wanted to raise $100 billion and invest in new stuff for the future. And he did do that with an incredible amount of due diligence. Let's watch this clip right now. Fuck, wait.
You are clearly one of the world's most successful technology investors and one of the world's most successful businessmen. Let me start by asking you about a fund that you are now raising, the Vision Fund. It's
the Vision
supposed to be
Fund.
A fund of $100 billion?
Yes.
Now, that would be the biggest fund ever raised. So when you told people you were going to raise a $100 billion fund, did they tell you you were a little crazy?
Well, some people said.
You had a meeting with a man who was the
He's a
Deputy
charmer.
Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, who's now the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. And
Oh,
as
it's
I
quiet.
understand the story, you went in, and in 1 hour, you convinced him to invest $45 billion.
No, it's not true.
Okay?
45 minutes, $45 billion.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I apologize.
Sorry, it wasn't an hour. It was 45 minutes. He basically convinced the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia to give him $45 billion, half of his fund, in 45 minutes. How did he do that?
In other words,
So,
if you had had...
well-
Oh, God damn it.
Apologize. In other words,
So,
if you had had...
$1 billion per minute.
What could you have said that was that persuasive to get $45 billion in one meeting?
Well, actually, I said, you came to Tokyo as the first time. I want to give you a gift. I want to give you a Masa gift, the
Okay.
Tokyo gift, $1 trillion gift. And he opened up his eyes. I said, okay, now it's interesting.
All right.
So I woke up him and said, here is how we can give you I can give you $1 trillion gift. You invest $100 billion to my fund, I give you $1 trillion.
So basically, he just promised him guaranteed 10x returns. That's what he said. He said, I can give you $1 trillion if you give me $100 billion. That's all it took. That's crazy. That blows me away. He just said, yeah, I'll give you $1 trillion. I mean, no thought on how he's going to do it, what he's going to invest in, what the plan is, specifics. It was more like, I'm a genius. I'll 10x your money. Okay. Well, he got the money from Saudi Arabia and other places. He got the $100 billion and he invested it in all sorts of companies that he called the Vision Fund. Pause for 1 second. I need to turn off Discord just to make sure that it doesn't interrupt. People always complain in the fucking comments. Oh, Discord's down. I thought I had a friend. What the hell? I don't have a friend messaging me. This is so sad. I'm never subscribing. Let me turn this off. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Sorry about that. Okay. So anyway, he invested in all sorts of companies. He got $100 billion and he put it to work in companies that were going to change the future. Only it turned out that the amount of diligence his investment partners did is the same amount of diligence he did in picking investments, which is basically none. He spent almost no time checking if they were good investments and basically just asked, is it growing? And so that created a weird set of incentives. And humans are very incentive driven. So if they find out that there's a rich Japanese man throwing away $100 billion to any company that says it's growing, you're going to get a lot of weird situations. Like, for example, WeWork by this guy. This is the biggest and largest fraud of them. I'm not going to talk about it very much. Everyone knows this story. But Adam Neumann of WeWork basically promised the world. He said WeWork wasn't just renting out office space. It was a physical social network that was going to change everything about work together. It was going to bring humans together, forged by human connection. He said a bunch of kooky shit. He promised massive growth. Then he basically siphoned all the money out of the company. For example, he had the company pay himself for the trademark we. He bought a giant guitar-shaped house with company money. He bought a private jet with company money. He ran the company basically into the ground. And then when SoftBank realized they were being bamboozled and stepped in to rescue it, he walked away with a $1.7 billion exit to be fired. This guy's an ultimate con artist. But that's the type of stuff that Masayoshi Son and his $100 billion fund was attracting. On a smaller scale, you may have heard of this guy, whose name was Alex Garden. Sounds like a Pokemon trainer. Alex Garden founded Zoom Pizza, which again, wasn't just a food truck that served pizza. It was a revolution of the mobile food industry. It was going to use robots in moving trucks to make pizza faster and fresher than ever before. And it was going to dominate the entire pizza market. Well, it turns out it didn't work. The cheese kept sliding off as the robots tried to make it. The pizza wasn't even that good, and it cost more. So it did terribly. And of course, Zoom shut down after raising $450 million from SoftBank. Another terrible investment, Masayoshi Son. And again, all of these stories have been covered before. I think I even talked about Zoom previously on a Marketing Monday. I'm setting the stage here. Because at the end of the day, after putting in $100 billion and promising $1 trillion, basically all of them lost money. And at the end of the day, right now they're down about $34 billion in just a few years. Okay? So people aren't super happy with their investments in the Vision Fund, including the reason that I don't really care. I'm not pressed about it. It's because the biggest loser was the Saudi Wealth Fund. The Saudi Wealth Fund, who we promised the 10x return to, have basically lost $16 billion. So I'm not too impressed. I mean, whatever. You want to lose it, you want to lose it. But a news story came out just this week about one of the people he invested in for the Vision Fund that I think is particularly hilarious. And it's the story of this guy. Make sure I get his name right. Abraham Shafi. Abraham Shafi. Pictured here, the millennial founder. I think this is the only millennial founder he invested in. And this guy really did millennials proud because he was the creator of an app called IRL that wants to get people together offline. Sorry, let me move this over. You know what I'm saying? Basically, the thesis was teens spend too much time on their phones, too much time indoors. We're going to build an app that has them connect, meet up, hang out, and take over, okay? And so in 2018, he started this app and started raising a ton of money from Masayoshi-san. And the early numbers looked great, okay? It had a good story, it had a good hook. People were scared about phones. And it started to get downloaded. 1/4 of all US teens downloaded this app. 30% were using it on a daily basis. It had 12 million monthly active users. It was blowing up. And they had to spend almost no money on acquisition costs. They only spent 50 grand a month, less than 50 grand a month. They were spending nothing to acquire users. It was going viral. This app was doing amazing. So SoftBank, Masayoshi-san, stepped in and said, I have to be a part of this. This is the future. This is the vision fund. And he spent $150 million to buy shares. Now, unfortunately, a few people around the company, vendors, etc., started to notice that there was a lot of bots on the platform. And they warned the CEO. They said, hey, there's some kind of bot attack going on, I think, because there's so many fake groups I'm seeing, and there's not a lot of activity in certain areas. But he, the CEO, kept saying we were having an amazing user increase. When they asked how daily active users were spiking up, he said, nothing specific happened. Engagement's increasing, usage is spiking. Our servers are on fire. We are just beginning our journey of massive growth and engagement. Well, it turns out that there was millions. I'm sorry, this is actually the best one to do first. We'll do this one first. It turns out they were actually spending $50,000 a month for making an army of bots, and that the entire platform's users were basically fake from the beginning. They were also spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to a firm ran by IRL's own head of growth to hide on the books what they were spending on acquisition costs. So they were, the whole thing was employed, by the way, by like 8 of his cousins. It was like him, 5 siblings, and 8 cousins. In an elaborate scheme to just make a fake company with fake users. How many actual users? The estimate said that 95% of all users that ever used the site were fraud from the beginning. And whenever people checked in the app, they noticed that it had millions of private groups. Again, this is like if you think of like Facebook events or something like that, it's kind of like that for Zoomers in an app. And it turns out that all of the groups had identical names, like the Play Video Games groups. There was 4.7 million of them. The Book Club group. Who the fuck didn't realize it was fake when it said there was 4.3 million US teens in book club groups? How the fuck do you not have a red flag? And then 2.1 million in a Call of Duty squad. Now, SoftBank supposedly had a robust due diligence process. But from everything I can see, it feels like Masayoshi-san and SoftBank never even opened the app. They just threw money at it, assuming the numbers were true. They didn't check at all. Because when you look at these statements and also what you can see for the app, it was very obviously full of bots. Now, the real red flag of this lawsuit, which is what SoftBank is doing to the CEO right now and all of his cousins and siblings, was there was a JIRA ticket from one of the employees basically asking openly for more fake users. JIRA ticket's like an internal tool you can use to ask for things from engineers. And they basically said it was a plan to, quote, add fake users and fake chats to all public groups with less than 10 people. It even described exactly what they wanted from the conversation. Hey, I just joined. What's up? Not a whole lot. A little bored. How's everyone? So even in the fake example bot conversation, the users were bored. So anyway, if you go to the IR website now, as of just the middle of June, very recently, they have this photo of crying Squidward saying, we love doing more together on IRL.com. But it turns out the app was completely fraudulent, has been shut down, and is in the middle of ongoing legal investigation, which may require this hero CEO, this millennial icon, to have to give back the money and face jail time to Masayoshi-san. Who needs it? Let me tell you, they could use the win of getting the money back. So I wondered, this has got to be a tough time for them over there at IRL, all the employees that got laid off and him and his siblings. And, I'm sure they really believed in their app. And so I thought I would give him some advice that I found from this great CEO article. Wait, sorry. Wait, I want to pull the article actually up. Okay. It's called 5 Things You Need. Oh, I'll show it over here. There it is. There it is. It's called 5 Things You Need to Be a Highly Effective Leader During Turbulent Times from 2020. So I wondered what this guy had to say. What was his advice? These are clearly turbulent times. And what I found was, when they asked him, did you ever consider giving up? Where'd you get the motivation to continue your challenges? He said, I discovered my why. My business gives me value beyond money and feeds my soul. So just really think on that when you planned from the beginning to create 95% fake users. And then he also said, when asked what is the best way to communicate difficult news to one's team and customers, he said, real life is messy and the truth will come out. Be vulnerable, open, and honest. Interesting. Extremely interesting. Prescient. Incredible vision for the future. Speaking of apps that have been shaky lately, let's jump over to an app everyone here knows that did a lot better than IRL and give a win to Zoom. This might give some of you flashbacks to Zoom school, but let's focus up because Zoom is in the news lately for a specific reason. But I want to give a little bit of background. You guys all know Zoom was the darling of the pandemic. In 2020, Zoom, which had been running for years before that, suddenly experienced a massive surge in stock growth. As you can see here, as every airline in America had their stock collapse, Zoom rocketed up 129%. Massive growth in 2020. One of the best performing stocks of the year. In fact, Zoom stock was in such hot demand from every investor in the 2020, 2021 era that even a stock that just sounded similar had an 1,800% spike. This was Zoom Technologies, the wrong company. People bought the wrong company on accident, and even that one had a spike. That's how much demand there was. All right. And this guy, the CEO, Eric Yuan, was considered a genius, okay? Eric Yuan connected the world. This is him on, I think, cover of Forbes. Big guy. And they asked him about what he thought about the future of work. And he had a blunt message. He said, working from home is here to stay. Well, if you guys don't know, Zoom stock has gone back to exactly where it was before the pandemic. It has completely lost every dollar it gained in those 2 years. And as of today, they're making their staff return to office. And if Zoom's doing it, that's a bad sign. Okay? That's a bad sign. But, is it the end for the work from home revolution? Is it over? The answer might shock you as I looked into it more. You see, there is a huge reason why companies and local governments, basically cities, want people to return to office. And it's not for the benefit of you or for the benefit of productivity. One of the main reasons is that real estate values, which is what a lot of very wealthy, either banks or rich people's investments are tied up to, commercial real estate, basically office buildings, is collapsing. The value of them is collapsing. And if they don't get in use again soon, it's going to be a real problem for their wealth. Additionally, cities like New York, for example, rely on the tax revenue that a bustling downtown gives them. And they need to stimulate the city's economy by making sure everybody is forced back to work. And so you can see that New York City Mayor Eric Adams is meeting with 100 CEOs to try and get workers back to the office. It's a serious demand. And if you look, trouble is still continuing to mount because people are reluctant. People are trying their damnedest, now that they've tasted the freedom of no commute, to not go back into the office. And so, again, the office real estate sector is experiencing some real trouble. There could be a serious collapse in office real estate values very soon. Because if you look up, as of literally the end of last month, very recently, this is occupancy of downtown metros. You'll notice it's up from the pandemic lows, but stabilizing basically around 50%. That means half of all office buildings are vacant. in New York, DC, San Francisco, Philadelphia, San Jose, Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, they're all still vacant as of today. You can see it basically right here. It's actually 49.2% average city occupancy, which means like even with all of this demand and all this stuff to pull me back to the office, they're still empty, which means it's almost unavoidable that we're going to see a real estate collapse in commercial real estate. And if you want to take it from someone other than me, as I play balloons on stream and yell at and mauled, maybe you listen to Steve Eisman, who is the guy from The Big Short, played by Steve Carell.
I mean, do I think commercial real estate, well, not commercial real estate, office real estate is going to be a problem? Yeah, we do.
That there is Steve.
Okay, I'm not going to watch this whole video with someone else. We'll watch it after this, actually, because I think it's interesting. But that is going to put some real pressure on wealthy people on wealthy people's like investment portfolios, specifically in real estate, and banks. And I definitely think we have not seen the last bank failure since SVB, given how many of them are levered up on commercial real estate. But we'll see where that goes. Now, Google has a plan to solve this. Google is offering, and this is a huge win, they're offering a $99 hotel option on campus that the employee has to pay for. These are not reimbursed, and the employee has to buy them on their own personal credit card to stay in a dorm room on campus. And the way they sold this to their employees was by saying, just imagine no commute to the office in the morning, and instead you could have an extra hour of sleep and less friction, which is exactly what work from home already offered. Genius. But now you have to pay $99 a night for it. It's fucking amazing. Yeah, $3K a month, dude. How about that? So that's a big win, but unfortunately, I have to go fail now. And I brace yourselves, because I know a lot of you fall into this group. There's going to be one group of people that is seriously going to lose out over the next 18 to 24 months. I'm afraid to say it, because they're such a pivotal part of our society. But it's people who love endless amounts of Marvel slop. Unfortunately, I have to give them a fail because some terrible news has happened. And that is that the VFX workers at Marvel have voted to unionize. No! They're not going to crunch for my slop? No! I want to watch more slop, dude. No. Oh, no, dude. Overworked and underpaid, the VFX workers vote to unionize at Marvel in a response to the hot labor summer in Hollywood from the actors' strike and the writers' strike. Finally, the VFX workers, which have had zero union at all, they're not voting to strike, by the way. They're just voting to unionize, but it's a first step. Zero union at all for the longest time are finally voting to organize into a coalition, the people that work under Marvel. So, again, let me make sure I have some of my... Yeah, okay. So, a super majority of Marvel's more than 50 worker crew had all signed authorization cards indicating they wish to be represented by IATSE and join the labor movement. So you can see here, the VFX industry has been non-union since the 70s. And they even made this cool poster of Iron Man's fist and Black Panther's fist and Thor's fist, all fucking, rising up in strike before if they get sued for that. But yeah, they're unionizing. And again, one of the reasons they're voting to do this is because they have been let me give you an example. Production designers, art directors, camera operators, sound operators, editors, hair and makeup artists, costume and wardrobe people, script supervisors, grips, lighting, props, paint. Every one of those groups on a Hollywood set has a union that protects their rights and makes sure they don't, get crazy overworked. VFX is the only one that doesn't, and now they'll be joining. And VFX coordinator Bella Huffman stated, turnaround times do not currently apply to us. Protected hours don't apply to us. Pay equity doesn't apply to us. Visual effects is not sustainable and not safe. And people have suffered far too long, and all newcomers to the industry need to know they won't be exploited. So I'm all for it, except for the fact that I won't get my daily slop. But it's a good sign. It's a good sign. Again, we're currently, hopefully it continues, but currently we're in the middle of a hot labor summer where people are starting to push back against incredibly oppressive corporate wage and hourly situations. So anyway, that being said, all is not bad for Hollywood. Okay, all is not bad news, especially for people who like slop. Because if you can't get your Marvel Cinematic Universe slop, we've already talked about how Barbie has broken $1 billion, billion and counting. This is the Warner Brothers lot. It's like the best performing Warner Brothers movie of all time. Made $1 billion, and they're gonna want to make a lot of slop based on the success of this film. They want to follow this up with 45 more Mattel Cinematic Universe toy movies, Hot Wheels, etc. We talked about it all. Hot Wheels Uno. Again, 45 more to come, featuring Tom Hanks, Vin Diesel, J.J. Abrams, Lena Dunham. They're reading the whole toy box. And I was about one in particular. So, you remember in the previous Marketing Monday, I talked about how they had this idea to do a action heist movie with Lil Yachty based on the card game Uno. And we made fun of it, but it is kind of weird and different, It's kind of interesting. Uno tweeted this. It sounded cool. Listen, maybe it's trash, but at least it was different. Well, unfortunately, they're going to be going in a different direction. After reviewing the script, Mattel has decided to go in a safer direction. And I want to talk about this because it's actually kind of frustrating. They don't understand why this movie might have been successful. You see, what was leaked in this New Yorker piece was that the original script was, quote, fuck heavy. It had Lil Yachty, it had a fuck heavy script, and it was about Uno. That sounds interesting. It was also set within the Atlanta hip hop scene. So it was like this dope Atlanta hip hop heist movie featuring Lil Yachty that's like rated R. And I'm like, this sounds kind of sick. I'm actually kind of interested. And unfortunately, a Mattel executive flagged it and they got worried about it. They cut it down to one PG-13 well-placed fuck and now have abandoned the idea altogether. And they're going to go in an entirely different direction for the Uno movie, which sounds to me a little disappointing because I looked back at how Barbie, again, whatever your opinion on Barbie, I think one of the coolest things about it to me was that it was absolutely, especially the second half, not what I was expecting from a Mattel movie. I thought it'd be way safer. The movie was not nearly as safe as I thought it would be. And the reason for that is because when they asked Greta Gerwig to make it, her and Noah Baumbach co-wrote a script and turned it in and said, basically, you can't have any notes on it. And when Mattel said, hey, let's change this, and this, their agent said, are you fucking crazy? You should have come into this office and thanked me when Greta and Noah showed up to write a fucking Barbie movie. And basically, that's a good agent. That's a good agent right there. And basically got them to back down. And that was back when Mattel, they didn't know anything about Hollywood. That was their first movie. he got him to back down. And so they just agreed, basically, carte blanche, to fund $100 million into Greta Gerwig and Noah's self-written script Barbie movie. And they created the movie they wanted to make. And I think people are responding. I think audiences around the world are responding to what feels like a breath. I mean, from a toy company movie, it's like it goes beyond what you'd expect. And I feel like they're not learning that lesson at all by canceling this cool Lil Yachty Atlanta fucking hip hop idea. All right, do you understand? You guys, the executives of Mattel, have no idea how to make a movie people don't watch. You have no fucking idea at all. So stay out of it. Give the money to an artist and just hope they make your fucking product look good. So big fail to them for that. I want to give a win, though, because they do have one good marketing idea around Uno, which was basically they're going to pay you $277 an hour to play it. It's an interesting marketing concept. You see, they said basically they know that advertising Uno won't do shit. So they created a job to basically play Uno on TikTok. That's it. And they'll pay you $277 an hour. Anyone here that needs money, look into it. All you have to do is play Uno on TikTok and make content around it. And that's what they want you to do, to become basically an Uno-fluencer. Which is funny because I think if they're smart, maybe they know this or not, but the smart idea is that just offering the job already got them more coverage than buying any ad space would have. This job is getting a lot of news pickup. People are talking about this job on TikTok. So that has already been clever. And then whoever they get to it might become a famous, if they, let me give someone on TikTok viral for a moment. It's a clever way to adapt to the new marketing environment that's basically all around social media. So I'm impressed. And if that's not going to make you money, again, on Marketing Monday, I'm always trying to find ways for you guys to make money. I know you guys want me to find you ways to make money. So if you don't want this job, I understand Uno's too tough. I've got you a better one. I've got you a foolproof way to make money that this guy discovered. Basically, he goes to Home Depot. He goes to the doors section where you can just buy full doors. He picks it up. He goes to the return section and says, hey, I'd like to return this door. I lost the receipt. They pay him the money and he takes the fucking money and leaves. Now, even better, if they don't pay him the money, he walks out with the door for free. If they say, sorry, you need the receipt, he goes, oh, well, all right, I'll take my door and go. And he leaves with a door. And he did that hundreds of times to make $300,000. And every time he left with a door, he would just go to a different store and try it again. So he ended up just moving through all these doors from Home Depot to itself. 370 times he did it to make $300,000. Now, obviously, I give this guy props for finding the loophole, dude. All right? If you're a hustler, you figured it out. But I do have to think on a grand scheme level, I'm a little frustrated because people like this ruin it for everybody else who just wants to return something without the receipt one time. Now every legitimate person who lost their door receipt and wants to return it is fucked forever because this asshole wanted to make $300K for free. So I give him credit, but I'm also a little pissed off at you, okay? Alexander Henrique Costamoda. He's 26, dude. He's all right, you're 26, bro. You fucking found your scam. Good for you. But I'll give him a dub. And speaking of dubs, and speaking in no way of China, let's talk about what's up, Beijing. Let's talk about China. What is going on in the world of China? What is up in Beijing? What's my man Xi Jinping? Fight the power, man. Fight the power. What's he up to? Okay? It turns out one of his old favorite hobbies, cracking down on Hong Kong. I mean, you got to go back to the oldies with the goodies, dude. If you really enjoy doing something, stick to it. If you guys don't know, in 2020, 2021, there was obviously all the massive protests in Hong Kong as China began a crackdown. Now, up until 1997, Hong Kong was basically like a British colony or outpost, and they gave it back to China. But Hong Kong obviously had different rules, laws, structures, and government. And so they created like a temporary peace where basically Hong Kong would have different rules than the rest of China. They wouldn't be under the Great Firewall. They'd be able to have access to open internet. They would have, different elected leaders, all that stuff. And China had promised that these rules and regulations that were different would last until 2047. They didn't. They lasted until about 2020. Then there was a huge crackdown, big protest that lost, and China took control and basically put it under. But now things are still different in Hong Kong. Again, you can see they still don't have the Great Firewall on, and their controls on speech, news media, and culture are less sweeping. Hong Kong still has a little bit more freedoms, but people are leaving in droves. Again, I found a lot of the stats are hard to find, but this article says the biggest wave of immigration in decades, and the labor force has shrunk by 5%. People are just leaving Hong Kong if they can. And this one was an interesting stat that showed Hong Kong migration to Canada, which had a massive spike after the protests in 2020. Once they realized the protests weren't going to work, people left for Canada and other countries, assumedly, as soon as they could. So that was the situation until now. But unfortunately, these still lax rules are not enough for the party and Xi Jinping, and they are cracking down even more. For example, 5 speech therapists were jailed for sedition because they published a children's book that portrayed Hong Kongers as sheep fending off wolves, representing China. And they have said libraries should ensure they do not spread any kind of messages that are not in the interest of Hong Kong. So anyway, the crackdown is getting more serious and people are responding. There was a guy, again, a filmmaker who had previously, before the protests, made a video about the protest, like right at the beginning of the protest, he made a protest. And then he's obviously said, okay, I backed off and made a normal rom-com movie, and they still banned him. Theaters wouldn't be allowed to play his film just because of his previous work. So again, the crackdown's getting more serious. They're using, the example I heard was they called it a blurred red line, where they don't say specifically what the rules are. They just imply that there's going to be stricter censorship. And then they sort of leave it up to you to figure it out, which means they never have to follow the exact rule. It's a bad look. But what's a good look is that they're making films of their own, including a brand new TV documentary showcasing the Army's ability to attack Taiwan, which was released this week. Actually, just yesterday. It was I think it's a 9-part TV documentary that shows specific members of the Chinese PLA armed forces, in the Army and the Navy and the Air Force, talking about how they'll be willing to give their life to fight and die to take Taiwan, including military drills, examples of how they would attack Taiwan, and people that would be willing to die, including one guy who said, if we can't get rid of the sea mines, the naval mines in the strait between China and Taiwan, I will use my body to detonate them myself. I want to say, I couldn't get a subtitled copy of this TV documentary, but if anyone can find them, I will pay $150. If you can get me a subtitled copy of this documentary that I can watch on stream, I'll give you $150 because I really want to watch it on stream. I really want to see. I can only see short clips. USD. You have to find me a working subtitled copy. Again, tensions over Taiwan continue to heat up. United States recently announced a $345 million military aid package for Taiwan. So again, neither side is really backing down here. And I know that everybody says nothing will ever happen, but it just feels to me, again, continually, more and more that rhetoric and money and drills continue to ramp up. The U.S. keeps putting more money in Taiwan. Taiwan builds more defenses. China keeps doing more drills and building up their military presence. China and Russia just did a military drive-by or test off the coast of Alaska. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing it out. Now, of course, all of this talk about war is not the most important thing coming out of China. I should barely have mentioned it. The most important thing in China is that this poor kid is not being allowed to use his smartphone. Okay? Because new rules have come out in China that is restricting children's access to smartphones. They're adding a minor mode that limits screen time and content for young people. And I want to talk to Xi Jinping directly for the rest of this Marketing Monday. Sir, this kid could be a hero of your country. And if you're going to restrict his access to his phone, if you're going to restrict him to 40 minutes of smartphone time, I'm worried about his ability to take part in the great internet brain glow up that all of us American children have experienced. Okay? Now, I do appreciate that you made it 40 minutes so they have enough time to watch the entire 55 episodes of Skibbity Toilet, which does fit in 29 minutes. So that's good. If you really use your time wisely, you can use that 40 minutes to catch up on every single episode. That is good. However, you ruined that by including content locks. That means the videos can only be about life skills, general knowledge, age-appropriate news, and entertainment content or positive guidance. Does Skibbity Toilet fall into that or not? Xi, you're making a huge mistake. You're making a huge mistake. If these kids can't get this entertainment, they're not going to be what they need to be for the future, which is what they want to be. Vloggers, YouTubers, and professional streamers. That is the number one demanded job in America, okay? Our kids are training. We're getting stronger and more powerful at these high demand jobs. Vlogger, YouTuber, professional streamer. Again, esports star, professional gamer, influencer. These are all up there. And if you are going to ruin this one, you better not ruin these two. Except he did. He did the unthinkable. Not only can they not use their smartphone, if you're under 16, you're banned from live streaming. If you can't watch content, you want to make it. They can't even make it. The next Tommy Innit will never come from China. You idiot. You fool. What are you thinking? The next psychic will never come from China. And at least you have esports, right? No. They banned gaming. You can only game for 3 hours a week. Now, I looked into this because I know how good Chinese esports is. There's no way this ban is actually in effect. I mean, it would threaten their esports dominance, warns Chinese players. Okay? This can't actually be in effect. Well, it turns out, based on the only site I could find, it is effective, but not at making them do anything healthy. It turns out that when kids are banned from gaming more than 3 hours a week, they don't study more, they don't go outside more. All they do more is more social media, more texting friends, and more watching Douyin videos, which is basically Chinese TikTok. Maybe we're not so different. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Marketing Monday. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you next week for another Wins and Fails. Whoo, baby. Chinese TikTok? Yeah, it's called Douyin in China. They don't call it TikTok there. Isn't TikTok Chinese? You're not understanding me, but can I explain it simpler for you? It's called Douyin in China. So it's the Chinese version of TikTok. They don't have TikTok in China. You guys are very cool. So TikTok is American Doyen. Well, it's not just America. It's the rest of the world. Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. That was fun. I liked going a little bit deeper on topics like the Masayoshi-san and what's going on in Hollywood. I think it was cool, but we'll see. I'll try different stuff and we'll balance it out. Also, the plan is, based on progress we've been making, to have a actual non-wins and fails marketing Monday next week about about Super Bowl ads. I'm going to be talking about Super Bowl ads from the beginning of the year, but with a twist. And that's the plan. So, should be fun. Now, for the rest of stream, I think we're going to watch a show that cliffhangered us recently called House MD. But first, I'll answer any questions. If you got any questions or anything interesting you want to talk about, I'm totally down. We'll do that for a little bit, probably 15 minutes, and then I'm so down to just fucking chill out and watch a house, dude. Because it cliffhanged us last time, and it was very interesting. Electrics asks, can I have $5? Yeah, take it out of your paycheck. Take it out of your paycheck, and then that's a gift from me. You left out this massive win. What is this? Wait, what? Oh my God! This is so good. This is too good. Thank you for linking it for me. I'm saving it. I'm saving this for next week. That's an easy. I'll save that. I'll save that. That's a great one. That's evergreen. Any thoughts on Fitch downgrading the U.S. Government bonds from AAA to AA? Yeah, my thoughts are, I mean, it is deserved. If you guys don't know, like, debt is rated from AAA to like triple B, or just B, I think, B, double B. And which is funny. It's just a funny way of saying F, but they don't want to say F. So it's like triple A, double A, triple B, double B, B. And they want to say fucking F, C, D, but nobody would buy debt rated F. So, so they call it fucking B. Anyway, America got downgraded from perfect triple A on our debt to double A plus from a major rating agency's Fitch, which means 2 out of the 3 major rating agencies don't rate us as triple A. Because we have so much fucking debt and it kind of a mismanaged government in general. Like, we have so much polarization that there's a good chance we never pay it back. Not a good chance, a double A plus chance. You know, it's interesting. The main thing is it doesn't super matter. There's not a lot of other places to put money right now than U.S. Treasuries for a lot of big. I wouldn't get open arms. It's like a sign of the times, but like, you know, I think Moody's is the first one that did it back in like 2011. They downgraded from AAA to AA, and they were like, oh, and nothing happened for 10 years. So it remains to be seen, but it's a sign that like it's becoming more and more obvious that our infinite amount of debt is a problem. It's a problem that eventually needs a solution that no one's talking about. Do you think we're in a recession still? No, I don't think we're currently in a recession. I think, as I've said over and over, my prediction, and I'm happy to be wrong, but everything I read and look at and study and hear from smarter people than me, I still fully believe it, is that between now and Q2 2024, we're going to have a recession. And I think it'll be a pretty serious one. It'll start in that time. That's my prediction. I don't go into it on Marketing Monday too much because people hate it. They hate when I talk about it. They get mad at me in the comments. They either call me a doomsayer or they're like, oh, it's so depressing. So I just don't talk about it too much, but I will do a video on it separately. That's my personal prediction, and you could be totally wrong. All right. If I don't own property and have no money, will this affect me? Yes. The person that hurts most in recession is usually not the rich people, even though they do get hurt. In the short term, it's because there's no jobs. The problem is the unemployment rises a lot. That's the big effect of a recession, is that unemployment rises a lot, which one takes the bite out of all these labor movements, which sucks. And then two, it just makes it hard to find a job, which makes it hard to spend, which means all the stocks go down. How are you not a total nihilist? I'm actually an optimist on a longer term scale, but I don't think we can, I think we've gone through decades of absolute money printing, debt fueled speculation, 0% interest rates. And they finally spiked interest rates up, and there's going to be a reckoning, and it's more than what we saw. That's what I'm saying. How does a recession end? I mean, eventually the economy starts growing again once the excesses are drained from the system. Recession worse than 08? I have no idea. I wish I could tell you exactly. I have no idea. Okay. I'm giving you a general sense that things are unwell in the economy outside of 7 companies. And eventually that'll lead. I mean, it's actually already leading to layoffs. There's already more people getting, losing their job like month over month, every month. Full-time jobs are disappearing. Even the last jobs report, which was called good, showed full-time jobs contracting and part-time jobs increasing. And they called that good. But full-time jobs are disappearing. I mean, so it's already happening. And then once that happens long enough and inflation is still pretty sticky, people can't afford shit. And that's where they stop buying shit. Right now, shit is being kept afloat by 2 things. Number 1, credit card debt is higher than ever. People they want to keep their same lifestyle but can't afford it. So they're spending more on credit cards. And then number 2 is this thing called the ERC, which is the Employee Retention Credit or something. It's basically like PPP loans, but you can't track it. And that is like legalized fraud. Basically, anyone can make a fake company and get a fucking ERC credit for 100K, 200K, 500K, 1.2 million. And you'll see, I mean, if you are in anywhere around like business news or you watch, I don't know, anything that would be like for a business owner, you'll see all of these ads with catchy jingles about get your free ERC credit. Here's that. We'll sign up for you. You know, it's like, there's so much fraud. There is so much fraud from the IRS right now. And they're just giving all these fucking free money for, and so that's propping up rich people. And then credit cards propping up poor people. And both those things are closing. So, what are PPP loans? So when the pandemic happened, the government was like, holy fuck, businesses are closing like crazy because everyone's staying at home. We have to give them loans to stay open and keep employees working because they were going to fire everybody. So they created the PPP system, which is like the Payment Protection Program or whatever. And they would give money to any business that would say, hey, I have employees, I need to keep them on. The problem is they didn't verify any of it. So it was riddled with fraud. People were setting up fake companies saying I have 12 employees, getting tons of money, and then buying Ferraris and yachts. And also, if they were real companies, they were firing people anyway. So like Applebee's would take a PPP loan and then fire people and then keep the money. And almost all these loans were forgiven. So they're not even loans. They're just free money. And it caused like a lot of the mania and the bubble in 2021. But the one thing about PPP loans was that you could look up who got them. It was public. And so a lot of people got shamed into returning the money, or you could track it. But then they created the ERC, which is like that, but you can't track it. It's not public. And that's what's happening right now. The ERC is giving out like $30 billion a month. And most of that is fraud, bro. I mean, I'm sure it's going to come out. Just that it's a massive amount of fraud. And so, in my opinion, that plus credit cards are keeping the economy afloat in a lot of ways. The spending is still high. And I'm also, I actually don't know how this will play out, but in October, student loan payments resume. And that's going to be crippling for a lot of people because they are not planning for an extra $200 on average of monthly bills to pay. And it's possible that Joe Biden, his hands are sort of tied legally, but he's the president, so he could find some executive order using a loophole to try and block it. And I think he will because it's very important for votes. So I think he will, but I don't know how. And so I'm still operating under the assumption that October is going to have student loans. So that's my thesis. All right. That's what I'm saying. And I will, if I'm wrong, then I'll admit it in Q2 2024, and I'll say 100%. Even if it happens afterwards, I'll say I was wrong. But that's my thesis, and that's what I'm basing on. And if data changes, I'll change my mind. Wait. What is your advice on where to look for a first job? I just graduated in marketing. So I have heard this before. I got to tell you, graduating with a marketing degree and looking for your first job is easily the hardest part. It's very difficult because there's so many scammy jobs that are basically just sales or like door-to-door shit, and they're packaged as marketing. Finding an early job is hard. I'll just be honest with you. Once you get in, it gets a little bit easier. One of the paths that I see work pretty well is you work at an agency. Marketing agencies will work you like crazy though. But you learn a lot and then you try to quickly get out of there. Like 1-2 years there, you learn a fuck ton and then you go to be in-house marketer at some company. And those usually pay better, have better work-life balance, etc. So again, I don't know. I'm just giving you the path I've seen. What does sticky inflation mean? It means, so for example, if you look at trueflation.com, which is probably the best way to keep up with where inflation's at, you'll notice that it has gone down quite a bit from where it was. It's now only rising like 2.3%. Okay. And it used to be, I fucking above 10 back in August of last year. But that doesn't mean prices have gone down. That means prices are still going up from their elevated levels. They're just not going up as much. So if like a Chipotle burrito used to cost $8 and now it costs $14, then, next month it might cost $14.10. So it's small increases, right? But the prices are not going back and down. And I think whatever you've seen from like things cost more than they used to, it's very unlikely any of that's coming back down. It might stay flat, which would be good. If we get around 2%, that'd be great. But there's a worry generally that inflation might be stickier than we thought and actually have some more flare-ups, especially as gas prices start to go up again. So that's another thing. That's the big problem. Atrioc, do you think Taiwan is worth a war? I don't know. I have no idea about what is worth it when it comes to war. I do know that the U.S. considers it strategically important enough to fight over because Taiwan makes all of the chips of the world. Not Lay's, not Fritos, but computer chips. They make the semiconductors. Like all of the NVIDIA products are made in Taiwan. Every chip in your PS5, in your car, in your Honda, almost all that shit. Apple phones, a lot of their chips are made in foundries in Taiwan. I mean, TSMC just makes all the chips for like everything. And so Chinese controlling it would be bad. Thoughts on EVO 2023? It was hype, dude. It was hype. Leffen winning another game shows Melee fucking rules. That's awesome. He's one of the fighting game goats. Proved it. It was very funny seeing Mango. I mean, Mango was basically tweeting nonstop, I hope Leffen loses, curse of Ra, praying to God that Leffen loses, and Leffen won 3-0, which reminded me of like a reverse version of my tattoo, where it was just so public that he didn't want something to happen, and then so it was cool. Leffen won, and then Street Fighter Finals was super sick. What was very cool, if you didn't see it, but in Street Fighter Finals, one of the guys has a controller and one has a fight stick. And they're like 2-2 going to game 5. And the guy's controller fails like during a match. And the other guy goes, don't worry about it. We can reset. It was so chatted. It was so, he says, no, don't worry about it. Like he didn't take the free, he homied him. And then I think he won. It was after the reset. I'm sorry. Yeah. He did that and then still won, which was super sick. It was a great PR move for him. A fucking good sportsman move, and he won the tournament. It was a triple threat, dude. Super impressive. getting sponsored, bro, if he's not. So yeah, it was cool. It was a good tournament. I mean, it's good for the FGC. So that's that. He is sponsored, yeah, but I mean, we can get an even bigger one. FGC is so full of homies. Nobody does that shit in bronze too. Yeah, bro, but nobody. I mean, okay, that's a little different, bro. Bottom of the ladder in Street Fighter, you're gonna get some. You're not no homies either. Bronze 2 is not where you're looking for the fucking pinnacles of human morality. Are you sad about the Pac-12? I don't know shit about college sports, I'll be honest with you, but I read a lot about the Pac-12 and the Big 10. Actually, it's Big fucking 20 now. If you guys, I'll give the brief update. I didn't want to do this in wins and fails because I don't know enough about it to give, but I can give you my understanding. Colleges have sport leagues where all of the colleges in an area will band together into a group, like the Pac-12, Pacific 12, Big 10, and they'll play sports against each other. They'll play basketball and football and everything in a league. And they'll sell the media rights to these leagues to TV to make money. And it's been very lucrative. Now, unfortunately, some of these leagues are much better at doing this than others. And the Pac-12 was pretty bad. The best deal they could get for media rights was basically $23 million per school from Apple. Apple was going to pay to broadcast all their games, $20 million per school. But the other thing, the Big Ten, found a way to get like $37 million, okay, per school. And so money talks. And all these schools that had been in these storied leagues for a long time and had all these rivalries were like, just fuck it. And all of them, like 8 of the Pac-12 left to different leagues to make more money. And so now the Pac-12 is the fucking Pac-4 or they're calling it the Power 5 or some shit. And they're not going to make any money on their deal. And they're basically dead. It's imploded. I don't know what the fuck they're going to do. And so what you're seeing, like you're seeing in almost all industries, but especially now in this college sports, is consolidation. All right. A few big companies are just hoovering up everything else. And you're going to end up with like every school, every notable school in America as part of one coast to coast league that has these massive media deals. ASU went to the Big 12. Yeah, that's right. The Big 12 is the most hyped college football by far. Yeah, they have the best matches, so they got the best media deals, so they get more schools. It's a snowball effect. So that's what's happening. But again, I'm no expert. You can probably read more about it. That's just, I found it to be interesting. Because it wasn't about a falling out of anything. It wasn't like arguing over rules. It wasn't because the schools lost their luster or whatever. It was literally because of money. It was like you could get $12 million more for working for broadcasting somewhere else. Is consolidation inherently bad situation? Maybe not. It remains to be seen. I mean, it's good for the schools in general because they just get a fuck ton more money they can spend on athletics programs. Football generally subsidizes all other sports, like, you know, water polo or I don't know, whatever. I mean, football makes enough money that all these other athletic programs can exist. So it's good in general that, like, if you like, you know, it's good. Track, etc. So it's fine. Is Salesforce a good place to work for? I mean, they're a big, nice tech company. I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't read their Glassdoor, bro, but yeah, probably. I mean, you'll get paid well. You get to work in that giant fucking fugly ass Salesforce tower in downtown SF if you're not remote. Atrioc, I prepared a marketing roast for you and it's fire, please. This better be fucking fire or I'm banning it because you spam this like 400 fucking times. What's your marketing roast for me that's fire? Pause chat, please. You spam this over and over and over. Atrioc, more like ate my cock. All right. It was nice knowing you. Followed since 2020. All right. Nice knowing you. He's out of here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's 9:05, and I think it's time for a little bit of a show called House MD. House MD. We left on a cliffhanger. House might be going to jail for once, which he actually kind of deserves, even though we hate the person putting him there. But I will give you a brief moment to do a snacky snack time. Grab a drinks, grab water, grab snacks, grab whatever. I'm going to do the same. I'm a little hungers. And then we'll watch House. Let me change my title. House MD Nights. If you guys haven't watched House with chat, you do not need to have any prior knowledge. We explain it all when it comes up, and it's pretty fun. It's the most fun show I've found to watch with chat since Batman Beyond, because we can make fun of it, but still some parts I like are good. It's just, I don't know, it's interesting and fun and good. It's like my favorite chat watching experience I've had so far. All right, it's like better with chat than it would be watching it by myself. Okay, BRB 1 second. All right. Got some Triscuit, got some cheese. Hit the lights. Yep, Vike. I don't, surprising as it may be, I don't try to get in the mood for House by doing Vicodin. Well, that sounds like a great idea to really feel his pain, you know? Why are you dressed like Anthony Fantano? He does not have a fucking monopoly on flannel shirts. As a longtime flannel wearer. Also, I don't even have glasses. About to give this House episode a light 4. Well, it remains to be seen if I'm bald or not. All right, let's fucking have some fun and watch the House episode, Words and Deeds.